Well, neither Michael Gove nor David Laws were available for interview tonight, but we are joined by the former Schools Minister, Nick Gibb, and in Manchester by Labour's Shadow Education Minister, Lucy Powell. Nick Gibb first. A blatant attempt by the Tories to politicise Ofsted. That's what Michael Gove's Lib Dem deputy seems to think.
Well, not at all. I mean, she has come to the end of her term. These are 3-year terms, and the Secretary of State is perfectly within his right to appoint somebody new and fresher to that role. Sally Morgan has done a great job, and the term has come to an end, and now Michael Gove is looking for somebody fresh.
So should that be a Tory or not, do you think?
No, not necessarily. No, not at all. But being a Tory shouldn't rule out a person applying for the job. And in this first 3 years of this government, they have appointed 3 times as many Labour supporters to posts as Conservative supporters. And if you look at people like Simon Stevens, who is a Labour special advisor, has been appointed to be Chief Executive of the NHS, there is no desire to appoint Conservative people to posts. They want to appoint the best people. And in education, what you must have as chair of Ofsted is somebody who is independent of the education establishment and who shares Michael Gove's determination to raise academic standards in our schools and standards of behaviour in our schools.
So the Lib Dems are just causing trouble then, really, are they?
Well, I think you'll find between now and the general election more and more of these episodes when the Liberals try to distinguish themselves from the Conservatives.
And personally attacking Michael Gove is...
Well, that I'm sure you'll see more and more as we get to the election. But I'm absolutely convinced that Michael Gove just wants the best person who's independent of the education establishment, who wants to drive up standards, and that's what he's looking for. And I do hope that the names that have been touted during this row will not be put off from applying because of what's happening in the media.
Including Tory donors?
Yes, that should not rule somebody out from applying for these public positions.
OK, Lucy Powell, actually, the Tory government has appointed rather a lot of Labour supporters since they came in 2010.
Well, I don't know where they're getting those figures from, and I'm not really sure that I trust many of the government statistics in this regard either. But I think what's absolutely clear today from the outcry within Michael Gove's own department and his deputy in particular is that this was an utterly political decision, and we shouldn't be playing politics with such an important role as the chairperson of Ofsted.
But you did play politics when in the previous Labour government. I mean, under Gordon Brown, 70% of appointees to these kind of public bodies were Labour. Under Tony Blair, it was 75%. So you did exactly the same, didn't you?
Well, I don't remember any incidents like this where, you know, somebody who, by all accounts, was doing an excellent job, who'd only just taken up the role, just got her feet under the table, was then being so quickly ousted because she was told she was too Labour. And as we've just heard from Nick Gibb there, what they're actually looking for is somebody who agrees with Michael Gove. This is part of his own agenda because he's so upset that Ofsted has been critical of his free school programme and so critical of his unqualified teacher programme in our schools.
Nick Gibb, there has been a bit of a spate of this recently, hasn't there? I mean, Sally Morgan, Kay Andrews, Susie Leather, Lisa Jardine, all left-leaning women who have been replaced by right-wing men.
And all those people were appointed or reappointed by this government. And you talk about the men-women issue. Michael Gove himself has appointed Glenys Stacey to be head of Ofqual. He's appointed Patricia Hodgson to run the Teacher Salary Review Body. He's appointed Dame Sally Coates to run the teaching...
My gosh, is it raining women then?
It's raining women. Alison Wolfe, who did the review into vocational education. So there is no discrimination against women, against Labour people taking up these posts. What the government is trying to do is to get the best people appointed. And of course, the whole appointments process is through an appointments commission. There's a civil service commissioner on that body that then recommends a person to the Secretary of State.
If it's so open, then why does Michael Gove's own deputy not even know about this decision until he reads it in the papers? You know, this is far from being an open process. And you know, Sally Morgan, by Michael Gove's own words, was doing a fantastic job. But I think what's totally clear here, and I don't think you're being entirely honest with yourself, Nick, is that David Cameron and Michael Gove, to some extent, have got a problem with women. You know, there are
well, let me put that point
being appointed.
Let me put that point too, Nick. Problem with women. I mean, you've just had Anne McIntosh has just been deselected by her party. There's a handful of women MPs standing down. I mean, a woman problem is something you do have, isn't it?
We want more women MPs, and we want more people, more women to hold public office. But that's a challenge for the party. There are now
You're not doing very well at holding on to them,
there
though,
are
are you?
far more women MPs now in this Parliament, Conservative women MPs in this Parliament than there were in the last. And David Cameron is determined.
Still far few.
Well, we want more.
You've still only got four women in the cabinet.
But of course, this is
hardly
the mantra.
any women
this
MPs.
Is
Four women
Labour's,
in the cabinet.
Exactly, we want more. And David Cameron wants more candidates from ethnic minorities. He wants more women candidates standing, and a lot of effort has been put in to doing that. But we don't just want tokenism. We want people appointed by merit. Michael Gove has appointed a whole series of women, as I've listed, in the education department.
Well,
this is just a Labour
Lucy,
mantra.
Lucy, Nick, I'm really sorry, we've got to leave it there. But thanks very much, both of you.